You're listening to Life Check Yourself with life coach, transformational leader, and dating and relationship badass, Marni Battista. Every week, you'll get the raw truth from top experts and real people on the important life and love issues you want to know about. So if you're ready to life check yourself in your relationships, your career, and the areas of your life that matter most to you, and you're not afraid to be called out on your stuff, then you're ready for what's next.
Life Check Yourself with Leah Van Dolder. Unlocking weight loss for women. How to overcome pesky situations that can keep you stuck waiting for Monday. Ladies, welcome in today. I am excited for you because this topic, most women I know struggle with. Men too, but women have our own special relationship with this problem. And so I have brought in a delicious, amazing expert, as I always do, Leah Van Dolder, and she's a registered dietitian. Yep, that's what we're talking about. She's a mindset coach, and actually she helps women achieve lasting weight loss while radically up-leveling their confidence, their energy, and a greater sense of self. She has been doing this for 10 years plus, and she's helped thousands of women across North America ditch the whole mind-body torture and the relationship with food that can be unhealthy. She's a member of the College of Dietitians of Ontario. She's the CEO of her virtual coaching business, Leah Van Dolder Coaching Limited, and she lives in Canada. She might say a boat or process. And she lives there with her husband, Chris, and her tabby cat, Gigi. I have a tabby cat named Fergus. Maybe they're related.
They probably are.
They probably are. I'm really excited about this because you and I were talking on Instagram about how often women who have like the tendency to overachieve, to overwork, to be overly busy. And for some of those ladies who are single, especially, not exclusively, but often, the whole self-care piece gets completely tossed out the window, and that it's really challenging. And so I wanted to bring you on here because I just did a retreat, Leah, and a lot of the ladies were talking about, like, why are we not having integrity with ourselves around our goals, around, being more healthy. So I know there's an all or nothing approach to this, but just tell me, what do you see in the world today that is keeping women stuck in this freaking battle?
Yeah, that's a really good question. The thing that I see a lot is the A-type personality, the perfectionism within us, and a lot of the thoughts around what is success and what's failure. And when it comes to health and sustainable weight loss, I see all too often women just going full tilt with their goals. And I'm talking high expectations of themselves. So they feel, or when they get this thought of, you know what, something's got to change. I got to get healthy and feel good in my body again. And then they try to achieve 10 goals in a day, and they can keep up with it for 2 days. And then Wednesday, the wheels fall off the bus. And then there's that headspace of, it's like, well, shit, can't keep up with it. Might as well just keep going since I'm off the track.
I'll start again Monday.
I'll start again Monday.
Yeah.
I see hard.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just talking to a client yesterday who did some reflecting and was setting some new goals. And she said, I need to get my body back. It's not that I've gained weight. It's that the shape has changed and I can't fit into this dress. And her goal was sort of work out and change my body and fit into my dress by the holidays. And we're recording this in early October. And I was like, and she had 10 goals like that, by the way, as many of us overachieving women do. And I was like, that feels like you're setting yourself up 100% to not achieve it. So like if you have that desire in the Leah way, where it's not this like all or nothing 48-hour like commitment and then you're on a bus with no wheels, what's a better way or more healthy way for us to approach it?
Yeah, that's a great question. With my approach and in that woman's where she was at, I would say, okay, say you got 8 goals in mind, let's tackle 2 to 3 first. Let's tackle those first. And I also like saying right off the hop, allow yourself to be human, right? Instead of allow that wiggle room for error, because it's going to happen, right? Like expect the unexpected. And in terms of having those goals, because I call those outcome goals, right? If say you want more energy, you want to say tone up, or you'd like to fit into that dress, those are outcome goals. And in my world, I say awesome outcome goals, but what's the process to get
right? Yes.
What's the process? So yes, fitting to that dress and having more energy and feeling incredible in your skin are amazing. But what are those daily things that we can do, such as drinking a liter of water before noon, blocking those workouts in your schedule, have an appointment with yourself 3 days a week, and say taking or investing, I'll say investing 40 minutes of your time on Sunday to prep some vegetables, some protein, so it's in the fridge waiting for you for lunch.
Amen. I think this is, and that's what I said. I was like, like, what about making one of the goals being like, let me try out like 3 or 4 different workout classes over the next month and see which one I enjoy the most.
Totally.
Like what feels fun. That's like a great goal rather than like, work out 7 times a day, or some people have a day. So I think that's a really important thing, because then you are setting yourself up to have them achievable because they're smaller and they're more realistic. And they don't feel so daunting, like I think that's really, really a huge thing. So when you're working with your clients, and I think this is a really interesting thing, because I don't think it just applies to food. I've been hearing a lot of when this happens, then I will do this, right? And so we are in a really big time of the year if you're listening to this live, but any time of the year is a big time of the year. But it's like, when we get through Halloween, because it's so hard because my kids have all the candy, and I'm really busy right now at work getting ready for the end of the year. When I just get through, all the family that's coming to visit for the holiday, when it's January 2nd, when I'm not so busy at work. So why do we set ourselves up this way? And is there any advice you have around how to sort of like have a wake-up call moment with yourself around how that time turns into years?
That's a good question. I find there's never, fear is a big one, right?
Yeah.
We're scared of change. It's tough. And
even if we want it, right? Even if it would be ideal, or even if there's literally, because I hear people like, there's no unconscious gain of me being overweight or unhealthy. Like, so I just want to preface that because I know listeners are thinking that, and I call it bullshit. There is something. So go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, change. Yeah. Like you said, even if we want it, right? It is scary because it pushes us outside of our comfort zone, and just the little wake up call of, okay, I want this change, but also recognizing that there's some sneaky subconscious trying to kind of talk yourself into, or almost deceiving yourself like things aren't that bad. But having that wake up call to say, okay, well, if things weren't that bad, that I wouldn't have this desire to want better for myself. And I always like to say too, if there is a desire that is placed within your soul and you truly feel like you deserve to feel better, then that's placed there for a reason. It's meant to be carried out. And I mean, there's never going to be a great time to make change. There never is. And I find too, like, we can say, oh, we're so busy and all this stuff. But to me, I mean, don't you want to be your best at your busiest?
Well, yeah. And I think it's almost like you do, because you want to have your most energy, your most, for me, I used to think, because I have struggled with an eating disorder and overeating and things like that. And I remember when I had that awareness of like, why am I sabotaging myself? I was like, oh, because the thoughts that run through my head, like, why did I eat that? I can't believe I did that. What's wrong with me? Maybe, I'll just, start tomorrow. Whatever those thoughts were, they were familiar. And even though I didn't like them, they were way better than dealing with whatever else was going on in my life. And so those were like my comfort problem to solve. Right. And so I think that sometimes we default to the weight problem or the body problem because it's like an ongoing illusion that will just keep moving moving the timeline further and further out, and we never really have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you so one of the things that I know you talk about, and I think this is like a huge reason why people sabotage and they keep pushing it away, is you call them like social food pushers or social.
Oh yeah.
I always joke, like, when people come over and I'm like, I have a Jewish mother, I can't help it, like, eat.
Yeah.
Eat. I can be a pusher. What do we do in those situations? It's hard.
Yeah, that's a good question. And here in Canada, we're rolling into Thanksgiving. So
yeah,
I just had this conversation within my group. Food pushers. I find a lot of times the biggest thing that I like to share with people is the food pusher. I mean, that's got nothing to do with you. And if you're feeling the pressure from the food pusher, it actually has nothing to do with you. And it's got, everything to do with them and how we perceive the push. That
right.
can make us a little bit uneasy because we feel like we're being rude, or we feel like we are being inconsiderate for not accepting food because we feel like we're kind of discrediting the time, the energy, the effort they've put into what they've made. So, and these can be, again, these kind of be stories because not every single woman thinks like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, for sure. For me, because I'm a food pusher. So my name is Marni. I'm a food pusher. I would say when people say no, thank you, or whatever it is, I'm like, okay, about it. And I also try to make healthy stuff, but like, I don't all the time. Right. And so I want to respect somebody's place. So I think what you're saying is really great, is that you make up a story.
Yeah.
That you have to.
Yes, that's a really, really good point. We make up these stories that we have to accept food because it's being offered. But is that actually true? No, it's not. So there's nothing wrong with saying no, thank you, and sticking to your guns, because maybe you have to repeat yourself a few times. No, thank you, I'm okay. No, thank you, I'm satisfied. Or, because we've all got a few people in our family that really push, you could say something like, hey, you know what? Is it okay if I take those leftovers home with me?
That's a great idea. I love that. It's funny. So I'm also on the other side of that. And I remember having a moment on an airplane back in the day when they served you food, not just in the first class cabin. But I remember seeing the person coming up and they'd be like, oh God, I have to say yes. I don't want to say yes. I don't want, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know these people. And I was thinking, all you have to do is just say one no. Just say one no. Because I just didn't feel like those were going to be choices that were going to make me feel good. But that's the extent of it. Is like I was saying yes to a flight attendant who was clearly didn't care whether I said yes or not. But I think it really goes a long way. Also, here's the other thing I'd like you to talk about, because this is really hard for me. My husband is a food pusher.
Yes. Yeah.
And he likes sweets. And so I really realized, especially because we're coming into like the fall and winter, and I'm like, I just cannot keep like, saying yes. He likes his dessert with the TV time.
Same
He's like,
with my husband.
right. He's
Yes.
like, come on. Like the other night, he was like, let's go to Dairy Queen. And I was like, but like, okay, do you know what I mean? And I didn't say no. I fully went to the Dairy Queen, had the little cone. So like when you're in a relationship or you're in those kinds of things, it's hard because I want to say to him, like, stop asking me, but but part of him wants someone to join in with him also. So what do we do? Because I think the intimate relationships or dating or, that kind of thing where you're like, oh, someone says, do you want dessert? Like it's the connection time.
Yeah. 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 It's funny. I like how you said connection, because that's the word that I was going to use as well. We find that it is, or we kind of default and say, well, it's our connection time. End of the day, like, seriously, Marni, the same thing happened here last night.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Turn on Wolf of Wall Street, ice cream bucket comes out, and we're sitting there on the couch. And this morning I woke up, I'm like, did I really enjoy that last night? Not really. And it's one of those moments where, like, we're so good to kind of play off of each other and be like, hey, do you want ice cream? Like, yeah, I want ice cream.
Yeah, sure.
But it's also just as effective having that conversation of like, do we really need the ice cream? Or can we do something else instead? Are we, I find it's such an interesting exercise to look at the recycle bin. I was like, oh my God, we've got 3 ice cream buckets in our recycle bin from the last 2 weeks. Like, let's have an intervention here.
Right.
So funny. And I find, like, yeah, go look through your recycle bin. It's a wake-up call, because once you put the wrappers away or whatever, it's just like, well, it's kind of like I forgot about it. But you want to have a rude awakening, go look in your recycle bin.
That's so good. I love that. I bought some graham crackers on Friday night. I just had a hankering.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to have a few. And then it was Saturday night and I was having a few. And like by Sunday, I was like, this was another thing we could talk about too. Yeah. My old self is like, you can't throw stuff away.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And I was like, I felt my mother turning over in her grave as I like took 2 empty, full sleeves of graham crackers, all cute little wrapped up, and they would have lasted so long. And I was like, I'm really sorry, but we have to end this.
Yes, we have to end this. I know. And I'm glad you're talking about this, because it's okay to throw stuff in the, recycle bin. It's okay to chuck some stuff in the garbage. And I was having this conversation with a client yesterday. I said, it's okay to throw your food in the green bin, or if it makes you feel better, you can think that this is going to compost, right? It's not going to waste,
right?
It's going to something. But that's another thing too, is getting okay, just practicing throwing some stuff out. It's like taking a little quiz. You're not taking the full exam, right? Just take a quiz, throw a couple of cookies away. Or like, I've literally had those moments too, where I'm like, I have had way too much ice cream and there's still a half a bucket here. Like, I don't need this. This doesn't need to be in the house. And I throw it in the garbage.
Yeah. It's really interesting, because when I talk to clients about this, like and this goes back to like, what's the story that you have? And I think having an inventory of those stories is really important. And one of my clients, we were talking about this, and she travels a lot for work, right? So she goes out on the like company tab to like really nice 5-star restaurants, right? And so her story is from like when she was raised, where her mom was like, war baby, right? Like, you don't throw stuff away. Like, this is, if you got like a free meal, like get as much as you can. And so I think we've talked about 3 different situations here that seem like they're just simple choices, but there's so much inner shit and stories and rules from our past that that come up. And so once you sort of like unearth those, what's the mindset shift, or what do you do to then start trying to break free from those limited views of our relationship to food and eating?
Yeah. Having a good chit chat with yourself, confiding in yourself, and bringing just that inner sense of calm around something. So say, for example, going out for dinner and having this internal story of, well, better take full advantage here and eat everything on my plate. Instead of that, it could sound something a little shift like, yes, I have this opportunity to spend. This is something that is available to me. I could eat everything on my plate, or I could bring the leftovers home with me because I'm still going to enjoy it. I'm not wasting it. And, I'm still doing something, and that's a behavior that will make me feel good in the end because I'm not overstuffing myself.
I love leftovers.
Same.
I'm always about the leftovers.
Yeah, always about the leftovers. I know. And some of the restaurant portions, like you really get 2 to 3 leftovers out of those.
Yeah. No, here's another one. As long as we're talking about rules, because I think that's so big. So here's another rule. So when I was broke ass, and I was with my husband, and we had our 3 girls, and they were little, we take them out or we take them on vacation. We both would like look at each other and like, we're sharing, right? Because, you're like providing for your kids or whatever. I used to tell my kids, hey, fill up on the bread. But anyway, so then, when we create a success, we have more abundance, whatever it is. And we started like, you're like, yay, I can order my own meal. And recently we had this whole conversation because we had so many leftovers and the portions are so big. And I said to my husband, like, we should share. And we were like, okay, great. So then we went out socially with another couple and we were like, let's share. And afterwards we were talking about it. My husband was like, I felt so weird. Like we shared this thing that other people ordered and I feel like they felt awkward, and the bill came and it was like, they didn't want to just split it because we only ordered one thing. And it's just so, that's like a little thing so we can both not overeat and we don't need to spend that money on an extra meal and all those things. But the social construct, again, another reason why you're not going to put yourself first. So do you want to address that one? Because I think these are all pitfalls that we have in the making healthy choices in a very food abundant world.
Yeah, definitely.
For which we are grateful.
Yes, for which we are very grateful. Yeah, when going out, and I've done that before too, sharing a meal because of the portions, they really are enormous. And, I kind of like to think at the end of the day, with something like that, when it comes to a choice of our own, I think to myself, okay, who is living and feeling the consequence of my choice? So, am I going to sit here and order 2 full meals for me and my partner just for the sake of keeping somebody else comfortable at the table? Or am I going to continue what I typically do of splitting a meal because I know that works for me? And at the end of the day, it comes down to what works for me because I'm the one that is feeling and living the consequence of that choice, not that person across from me.
This is so huge. What's funny in the experience that I'm thinking of after the food came out, the other couple looked at, they're like, oh my God, we should have shared.
Right? I was at a restaurant 2 nights ago with my husband. We shared tacos. 2 ladies beside me gabbing on about something, and the one's like, oh my God, I am so full. And I just think, I'm like, yeah, that sucks.
I know, right? I'm not. I shared my meal.
I shared my meal.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about this before we go, because I think this is really important too. And I want to be better about this because I've been doing a launch the last couple of weeks and we're moving. And I really made an intention to continue to cook, eat healthy. And I think that I could do better during the day. Like I'm good in the morning. And this is what I hear a lot of people saying, like, I do really great until like 3 or 4 o'clock, right? I drink my water, I have my healthy breakfast, maybe I have a good, snack or a lunch. And then it's like, ring, triple the amount of calories from 3 to 10. So what's a way to do appropriate healthy snacks that are nourishing, that are also great for really busy people that aren't just carrots?
Yeah. Great.
Although I do love a carrot.
Yeah, they're great on their own sometimes, but like sometimes we need something bigger than a carrot, more hefty than a carrot.
Yeah.
I like to say plan for your time. If you know that's when things fall apart, 3, 4 o'clock, awesome, plan for it. And wherever you are, whether you're at the office, whether in your home, whether you are on the road around 3, 4 o'clock, set your spaces up for success. Put protein bars in your glove box in your vehicle. Put a bag of apples in your vehicle. Home office. Maybe you've got a little fridge in your home office, or even at the office, there's typically a kitchenette there for people. I'll give you some examples because I just chatted about this with a client yesterday, but same thing. She's like, things fall apart at 4 o'clock. I'm starving. I need something other than just like a piece of fruit.
Right.
So she went to the grocery store and got those little snap packs of Greek yogurt, those individually wrapped ones, and like quick and easy snacks. Greek yogurts, got a thing of trail mix, and she got some apples and put those in the fridge. And then when it came snack time, it's a Greek yogurt, an apple, and, a couple of tablespoons of trail mix on top of her Greek yogurt. So now you've got a solid snack, 15 grams of protein, some healthy fats, some fiber in there. That is going to keep you way longer than just chomping on celery sticks and cucumbers, because you're not actually filling that, like you're not really giving yourself much.
Right. And it feels deprivational. Is that a word? Deprivational?
Yeah, it totally does.
And it feels like you're dieting, and it's like, God, just get me, steamed broccoli and a chicken breast and gag me.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh God, diet culture. So I remember when I have a picture in a photo album of me and my mom. My mom was like the queen of Weight Watchers, but she was overweight. But she used to just always say like, I'm a lifetime member. She was so proud. But I have this picture of us in the kitchen. She made a Weight Watchers quiche, which I'm sure was actually probably really good. But we're standing there with like the quiche and our like forks, and we're both smiling, like, yay, we're dieting together. But I just really think that it is so important to remember that the legacy or the physical space of yourself that you've had is not fate or predetermined, and that you can create something new as part of your new identity of being a healthy person. And you're just reminding me of all these snacks that I was eating like a month and a half ago, and I literally forgot.
Yeah.
Because it's just like you're like, oh, let me just eat the leftover of this. Let me just grab this. Let me just eat some cheese and a stick.
Yeah.
So let me ask you one other question. If you were going to say to people, and I'm so curious about your views on this. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that is very fad diety.
Yeah.
Like I have a lot of clients who are like, I'm on this pill, or I'm doing this. I don't even know what it's called, where you fast 5 days a month, or, there's just all this shtick. And they're just, can be really, really perpetuating the cycle of up and down and success and fail. How do you evaluate whether one of those things is a healthy choice for you or not? Or is it ever? Like, I don't even know the answer to that. And so I'm fascinated to what you as a professional would say around those topics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a couple things there. And I even hate the word diet, but I'll say like the best diet is the one that you feel like you're not on.
Right.
Like it's not supposed to feel like this massive effort. And when we look into the research too, I mean, there's always going to be something new and hot. always, like intermittent fasting, keto, all this stuff. I mean, I work predominantly with women, and we know the research shows us time and time again that balance is key.
Right.
Having, half of your calories worth from carbohydrates. So you're getting the proper vitamins, nutrients that your body needs, having a quarter of your calories from protein, getting some healthy fats in there. Anything like any red flags, I would say things that seem too good to be true typically are. When you see, diet pills or supplements or a new weight loss program or something that shows a woman that's so happy and has lost 30 pounds in 3 months. Like I saw a magazine yesterday that said something along that. And my immediate thought is, yeah, well, I wonder how quickly she regained that back.
Yeah, exactly.
So anything that seems really flashy and too good to be true typically is. And, programs that cut things out. So cutting out food groups, fasting for 2 days a week, pumping you full of fluid, like drinking 6 liters of water a day and taking all of these supplements so you can detox yourself out for a week. Like, don't waste your money. Don't waste your money. Don't waste your time.
So hard.
Yeah.
I was in Overeaters Anonymous. So I learned for me that those things set me back into my unhealthy relationship with food, right? Because then there's rules and I'm a good person or a bad person if I follow the rule, and I can't have a scale in my house. I choose not to, all those things. And I think that one thing that I really realized early on in that journey was that I thought that everybody thought like I did, and I thought that was the way that all women thought, and when I realized that was not ideal and that there was another way, it really reminded me that this is a lifestyle choice. And the last thing is, for me, when I think about this stuff, because I had a really bad traumatic ski accident, I had to be in bed for 9 weeks. I couldn't walk. I couldn't move. It was really hard in all cases. But I realized in that moment that all I really want for my physical self, for my body, is to be able to express my soul, express myself in my energy, in being active. I know lots of people are I want to be able to play with my kids or my grandkids, or go on a trip and be able to walk around a town and my knees don't hurt, right? And I think the last thing to talk about is your core motivation, right? Which is, what's the core motivation that you see in your clients that are successful and maintain? What's that? Well, how does their why shift or change? And what is that ideal core value that can support us to be lifelong healthy eaters?
Yeah. They want to look in the mirror and see themselves. They want to see the best version of themselves. Because when they come to me, they feel like they're hiding. They feel like they are living a different version.
I love that.
And that's really what it boils down to.
I'm writing it down. That's so beautiful. That's a tweetable. Leah, I'm so glad that social media brought us together. And this has been such a powerful conversation. Ladies, absolutely, show notes have access to Leah, but you can also, except if you're driving, do not do this right now. Pull over, okay? It's leahvandolder.com. And it's VANDOLDERLEAH. And again, all this is in the show notes, but check it out. She's got so much great material and a way to get rid of rigid meal plans and rigid exercise routines, and actually having a way of becoming more of who you are in a healthy way, which is why I was like, will you come on my show? So super excited to have you here. Ladies, so much in this juicy episode. Oh my gosh. So you can re-listen and share and look at what are your food stories. We talked about a lot of real life situations, from food pushers to partners and sisters and best friends who are like, do you want to go for ice cream? We talked about how you can identify if a way of eating is going to be healthy for you. We talked about some limiting beliefs. So much goodness. Make sure you listen. And whatever you do when it comes to looking in the mirror and being your best self, make sure you life check yourself. We'll see you next time. Make sure you follow me on Facebook, Marni Battista, and at Instagram, MarniBattista_. All right. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks for tuning into today's show. So if being in an intimate relationship in which you feel 100% seen, heard, and accepted by a high caliber man is a priority for you right now, and you're interested in seeing if you're a fit for working with me and my team at Dating with Dignity, here's what I want you to do. Just head over to DWD VIP, that's D as in dating, W, D as in dating, VIP.com, and book a call to speak with my team. We'll get on the phone with you for about 60 minutes, and you'll get crystal clear on what's stopping you from finding true love right now. We'll also take a look at what you want to create, what you want your whole life to look like when you're able to finally be fully expressed as a woman in a healthy relationship with an incredible guy. And if we can help you get from where you are right now to where you want to be, we will show you the fastest path possible that makes sense for you to do that. We help smart, successful women all over the world solve this one missing piece in their life so they can finally have it all. So to see if we can help you do the same thing, head over to DWDVIP.com. I'm Marni Battista, and let's talk soon.